Hello, I'm Rick Schultz, and welcome back to the audiophile. So we have an exciting program for you here today. I want to show you something that I've come across a little while ago. I wanted to share it probably already a year ago. I just haven't had the opportunity, but now that we've got the audiophile up and running again, this is just a perfect opportunity for me to show you something that is darn near free. So one of the things that we have been concentrating on over the years is different ways to be able to improve whatever. Okay, and this particular time what we're going to do is we're actually try to take the media itself, a good old-fashioned CD, and see if we can improve upon it. Now, for those of you who are watching and you see my little pen over here, you might go, oh, we've been doing that for years. So what happened is years ago, people figured out the idea of being able to take a felt marker and put it around the edge of a CD player. No, not the CD player, the CD. As they put it around the edge of the CD, they noticed that they were getting better fidelity. It took off a bit of the edginess, gave them better separation between the images and the sound staging, just overall better music and less harshness and hardness. And so that kind of took off, and you found a lot of different products that came onto the market after that. Things from demagnetizers, you had these little devices that cut the edge of your CD to put a 45-degree angle on it. Well, what was that all about? Well, the stuff that cuts the edge and deals with diffraction and the pens themselves were all about this whole idea that a laser is going to be shooting up from the bottom of the player and trying to hit the bottom of this disc. And as it does that, the information that it reads is going to come back down in reflective light back to that laser. Okay, so there's a laser pickup that takes that information, and basically it reads this whole thing, and that's where your ones and zeros come from. It's there's little dips and valleys within inside this, and as the laser goes through that, it can tell the difference in the pits inside this little CD, and any of the light that's diffracted in a different way as those lasers coming over top of those little valleys and caverns. If the light itself bounces off in a different direction, that can actually cause problems, which basically are distortion. Okay, so can we lower distortion on the media itself? And the answer was yes. What we came up with was this whole idea of being able to use a felt pen, go around the edge of it, and cause for a lot better sound. Now, I'm going to do a similar thing here today, but this is a big step up. And the reason why it's a big step up is because I found this little guy here, and it is available at Hobby Lobby. I think they also have them at Michael's, that's in the United States. Amazon, I think, carries them as well. It's a Sharpie oil-based marker, and this one here has a bold point end, and that's important because you want a nice big chisel end so that you can get the end of the CD without slipping off. Okay, you want to basically do the outside edge. Why aren't you doing the inside edge? Well, the reason why you don't do the inside edge is because oil-based markers leave quite a bit of material, and when you actually go and test these afterwards, you put them inside your CD player, sometimes they're not going to actually fit in your CD player, they're not going to play properly. So I don't want you to do the inside edge, I'm not going to recommend that. If you decide that you want to experiment on your own and do it, go ahead. I'd recommend that you do it with the felt style marker, because I can almost assure you, every time I've tried it, my CDs didn't work with oil-based. You can only do this one on the outside edge. But the advantage is that it works so much better with the oil than it does with the felt. So how's the whole thing done? For those of you that have never seen any of this before, let me show you how we get the whole thing going. Basically, you start with your oil-based pen and you want to shake it. You can hear that there's a little marble inside there. That's because we literally have a paint-based pen. And then you want to push it onto something. I would prefer that we had either a piece of cardboard or a piece of plastic, because you don't actually want to get rid of the paint that sticks onto the end of this. So if you have a little bit of paint now, you'll see it actually come down onto your chisel chip. When you do this and you start, I want you to use a couple of discs that you don't care if you wreck first. Okay, use some older ones. If you get material onto the surface, it happens where you can slip and you get this oil-based material down into the surface of your CD. You can clean that off, and you need to do it quickly by using isopropyl alcohol and any sort of soft cloth, okay? And wipe it off immediately and it'll come off. If it stays for almost any period of time, it's an oil-based marker, it's probably going to stay on there for good. So you just be a little bit careful with that. I've got this little guy right here, and the only reason why I'm using this is because when I put my CD on top of here, it gives me a really good platform to be able to spin my CD so that I can be as still as possible. I can hold my pen still in one point, and I can twist my actual CD and go all the way around it, making one firm line coloring in the edge of my CD. But we've got a very nice oil on the very edge of it, so it's very dark, very well concealed, and I managed to keep it off the label as well. So overall, not a bad job. Haven't done one of those in a little while. If you get doing it, you're usually going to do 20 or 30 of them at a time. Get yourself one of those Sharpie-based. Try it once first, listen to it, make sure you like it. Does it make an improvement? Absolutely no question whatsoever. All it's going to do is stop that the diffraction off the edge of the CD, and you're going to notice that it just cleans things up a lot. You know, really a lot of edginess goes away, some hardness goes away, your images and your sound staging is better. Just overall, to me, a huge improvement. Considering that these little guys are probably somewhere around $4.99, we're going to consider this little tweak almost free. I'm Rick Schultz, and welcome to the Audiophile.